Prosper Online with Laura podcast. How are you, Laura? When I think about the whole process, people don't know who Laura White is in LW Consulting. So I'm so excited today to talk to you on your podcast and my syndicated radio show to kind of learn about what makes Laura tick for her success, being able to make money online while sleeping and making passive income. But it didn't start out that way. You were a traditional working mother. So kind of explain to go to
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. So yes, if we're going to go back that far, yes, I got married. I stayed home for a couple of years and I just couldn't. I'm not one that can't sit still. So I went into sales and it came so easy for me, Neil. I mean, like I can literally sell you this lipstick. It just came easy because I know how to connect with people. And I think it stems back to my family, which I grew up in a family of nine, and I had to learn every single different personality, how to communicate with them, how to get them to do stuff. So I always loved sales. Every company I was in, I was always in the top three sales of that company. And I loved it. It wasn't a chore. It wasn't exhausting because, again, I just knew how to connect with people. But then God transitioned me and closed all the doors and wanted me to be a coach. And when I first started off, I went from six figures to absolutely nothing. We're talking 20 years ago. And I just said, wow, this is cool. I've already literally been coaching people because people would always come up to me in my sales jobs and go, how are you making those sales? What are you doing different? But I was like, okay. So then I started covering people's limiting beliefs in life coaching. So I didn't know any better. So I started out as a life coach and helping people to find their purpose, what's their why, and finding out, what's keeping them from that purpose. And then I noticed, well, this is great and I love doing this, but how come I'm not getting any sales? I'm like, this is crazy going from six figures to nothing. And I finally, after this is funny, Neil, this is a story. The first year, I tried to figure it out myself. Well, that's not working. The second year, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to download everybody's free stuff. And I figured I could do this on my own. That wasn't working. The third year is when I got a mentor and a coach. That's when everything changed. And the coach, when I started getting sales and started getting clients and customers, then he was asking, he goes, people are really drawn to you about sales and purpose and all this stuff. Why don't you transition to a business strategist? And that's how I got into coaching, what my first steps were.
Okay, so we talk about business coaching. You just basically saw from your success as a life coach how you were going from zero to making sales and making money, how you wanted to help people. Because I think you see a lot of women struggling when they start their business. They think they have their why. So there's a lot of the life coaching end to this. They think they have their why. And when they think they have their why, then they go out there and then they're afraid to sell to
Oh,
people. They're afraid to tell their story. Yeah, I'm a coach, but you're not able to tell them, well, what can you do that's going to help and bring a purpose. And then after they do tell it online, you get on a phone call with them and they really aren't able to explain things. That's what I think where you saw your opportunity to be a business coach was.
yes, absolutely. Because, that business strategist, business coach, helping them figuring out how to grow and scale your online business. And it's really understanding who you are. So if you don't know your why and your purpose, that's one thing. But then figuring out, and like you said, you do add that life coaching into every session because people do have that unlimited belief. They don't know their plan, their strategy. So working through all that and then helping them, okay, so here's the plan. Here's who you are. What's your purpose? What's your why? Now let's put it together. And then they were asking, like, well, I don't know how to do content. Well, let me teach you how to do content that converts. Let me show you how to do marketing because Facebook gives you a lot of good things that are free advertisement and free real estate. And so I would draw into that. But again, I got coaches myself. So I tell people I've already spent thousands of dollars. You don't even want to know how much I've spent throughout the 10 years. And I've already bought all the programs. So that's why I help save you years and money trying to figure it out yourself.
And that's important because you make a lot of mistakes. I go through that process all the time. And you're right. If you can find the right coach who can guide you and lead you in the direction when you have questions, when you're starting, I think a lot of times it's much easier to coach someone from if they're starting from scratch than they've already figured a lot of it out. Do you agree with me?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because then you have to untrain them.
Untrain them, get them to change their mindset. It's a lot more difficult, and they have bought the courses, they've gone through the stuff, and then they're questioning themselves, you know.
They're comparing themselves. They're comparing themselves and going, but they can do it. But listen, you don't know their journey, what the hell they went through, you know?
I mean, I look at it, my radio show. I was up when I was not even making any money, my radio show, right at the beginning, basically, then going and teaching in the morning where I was doing intro and outros and doing like short video vignettes as well to send to stations and all these things. I was doing it till 3 or 4 in the mornings, going to bed for 2 hours and getting up and teach.
Yes.
So I had to go through a lot a long time
Yes.
ago.
Yeah. See, you already
And
did all the work. Yeah.
yeah, I already did all the work and I went through it and I saw these different things. And then I have specific examples of success where you say, okay, I get that. And that's where someone like you, they need you as beginning. Get a couple sales under your belt. People don't get this as a coach,
Yes.
as a service-based business. You found people who like your stuff. And if you keep them or maintain them for a certain amount of time and you know why they bought it, it's much easier to buy more, have more people buy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so important because of the fact that a coach sees what you don't see. They
Mhm.
see your blind spots. And then as a person who owns their own business, you don't know what you don't know. So that's what a coach brings in. And so a coach, a true coach, has already spent a lot of time, a lot of money researching. Like I remember even because I teach people how to make different streams of income. And it's like, yes, I already bought this digital marketing, this digital marketing program. So let me tell you which one works and which one doesn't work. Let me save you all that time and money to figure that out. But here's another thing that people make a mistake. Oh, this is a huge one. What they do is they make their program, they make their course, and then they go find their clients. No, you got to find who's your perfect avatar. What's your perfect niche? Then you make your program, but don't even complete it. Just have the first module, the first video. They will show you what they're struggling with, what they want, what they need. Let them tell you, then you go make it.
And also your competitive analysis for
Yeah.
the industry you're looking at going after. You work with a lot of Christian women. Now you're branching out further because you've grown.
Yeah.
But at first, that's what you were going to do. I
Mhm.
would particularly, when I grew my clients in my agency, would pick a specific area. It wasn't as niche because marketing's a little different. And I would agree with me on this
Yeah.
than maybe business coaching. You can pick a specific group of people because you don't know who's going to pay for marketing, especially done for you. That you kind of got to go and say, well, what area is going to be the right clients that I can speak to, that I know that's a community of people, and I go after that straight community. And then it's from a relationship and go through that community and just focus on that community. Go, go, go. And if your product sell, if your service is selling, you keep selling. If it's not working out well, you got to make that change and turn,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, you do. You do because it's true. I tell you this, where you start is not where you're going to end because it does shift and change on the economy, on the people. And then you'll have more people that ask you about this certain thing. Maybe it's your messaging. I'm going to go that route if that's what you love. But then it might be say, well, you know what? People are picking up on my sales training. So maybe I need to concentrate on being a sales coach or something. So your audience will let you know. But of course, it's what you love to do. Don't do anything that you hate waking up because I love waking up going, I get to teach people how to
Yep.
make streams of income.
Right. And then you pick the time, okay? Because
Yes,
sometimes your niche, you might have to have other service offerings just because you aren't able to support yourself just on that offering.
yes,
You get multiple streams of income or multiple offers if you already know how to get the sales. Because I think the two hardest things are finding the people and then getting the sales.
yes,
And then you're building your brand throughout, hopefully, because a lot of people who find their people get the sales, but they can't duplicate it or triplicate it, then it's they got to build a brand.
right.
So how did you transition from just traditional business coaching to digital marketing? How long was that process, and who kind of led you to that?
Oh my goodness. Well, I was okay, here's the story. Here's the true story. My husband retired 3 years ago. And as a coach, I loved it, still do, still have my clients, still coaching, but I had the high ticket, the low ticket, the membership. I had everything. And I had clients, guru. I mean, they were texting me, emailing, calling me, and it was like working 10, sometimes 12 hours a day to meet everybody's needs, even with the masterminds that I had. And I knew I had to do something different. And so one day I sat in my bedroom and I journal with God and I just says, you know what? I don't like my life. And you're all thinking, oh my gosh, does that mean bad? No, I wasn't going to do anything drastic. I said, I don't like my life. I'm working 10 hours. My husband wants to go hiking. He wants to do something. He's retired. I'm like, okay. So in my journal, I said, God, I don't like my life. I want you to give me something that I can make more money and work less. Now I was working, making 5, 10, 20K a month in coaching, but money's not everything. And my husband wanted me to be with him more, still make money because he's retired. You know, he worked his job for 44 years. And so I said, what can I do? And then 2 months later, after I requested that prayer, someone introduced me to digital marketing. And I knew digital products, especially after like a lead magnet, you're telling something free, and then you go, oh, before you go, what about something else? But I didn't know the significance of it and the variety of it. And that's when my whole world changed. I'm like, what? I can show up on TikTok or Facebook and for an hour do a live or something and pocket all this money. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's when everything changed. I still have my coaching, but now I've added streams of income that are residual or, we can talk about that later, but that's when everything changed. At that moment when I says, I can't keep those long hours. I can't if I want to keep my marriage. And it wasn't bad. It was just that, I wanted to be with him and it was a time to transition in my life. So that's what I did.
And then you found that transition, but at first you struggled trying to sell digital products, right? You kind of figuring out who,
No,
what,
no, no, no. I made as soon as I went into it, I made buco bucks. I made like I think in 2 months I made 10,000 in 3 or 4 months, give or take. I don't know, quote, it was like 20K. So yes, it was a little bit less than coaching, but it was still good money. But then you hit a plateau, you're like all excited and do all this. And then, 6 months down the road, you had a little plateau. And then I'm like, okay, well, let me add something else to the stream. And then that's how it transitioned.
okay. So then, and there it was some, most was you, then you had to get a mentor for certain things after that. You kept looking at all your coaching of coaching people and all the digital products to make it work. How is sales different? This is a good question because my strength, and well, see, this is what I love doing on my podcast. I just share because I know
Yeah.
everything is a reel,
Yeah.
everything is a short. So I might as well, if I would go through my hundreds of hours of video. But the thing I would think about is this: the way I get a sale, best way is one on one, getting to the person.
Right.
I sell mostly high ticket items, meaning service based industry. I really don't go with, and I've never had any low ticket items ever. I'm waiting till I'm completely ready for that. And that's where I'm niching to more podcasting on that end. I'm just thinking about that. But when I do it, is I need to get someone on the phone.
Right.
I need to get them on a Zoom. So I do it through the process of building the right followers and then contacting them, going on the offensive fast. And I don't have to have that many. And
Right.
then I get them on the line and then I basically explain myself. Here's what I can offer, and here's how my success rate, and boom, I'll close a sale.
Right.
I have never gone the route of, okay, I'm going on in digital marketing and I'm going to go ahead. I've had leads before doing social media, but it's not like the level that you're able to do it. How did you transition from straight sales, right? From straight sales, where you're able to get on a phone with somebody and close them, to getting leads and closing them online? A lot different.
Yeah, it is a lot different because I actually did it the hard way, to be honest with you, because I wanted to try this digital marketing and I only at that time used, well, actually I take that back. Yeah, for the first 2 months, I only used Facebook and I made a lot of money those first 2 months. And so what I did is I did posting. I didn't go live and didn't do reels. I did posting. But what I did is I add my personal touch to it. So my personal touch ending with the business, so kind of connecting with them in that way. And it worked. It really worked. And then after about 2 months, I got on a TikTok and oh my gosh, my whole world changed because TikTok, as you can tell, I'm charismatic. I love talking. And if I can get to talk to you, even if it's live, then I'm going to connect with you better. So people saw my personality and I would say, hey, Neil, welcome. I'm glad you joined my live. And, tell me a little bit about you. Or I'm sitting there talking. And if you comment, I'm going to relate to you. So the TikTok was like, wow, I can go on live for an hour, connect with people, and they would ask me questions. And then if I can't get them right then and there, I'm like, hey, connect with me. And I always had my calendar available, or I'd say, DM me. And then when I got off the TikTok, I would actually reach out to that person and say, hey, Neil, thank you so much for joining my live. Thanks for all the good questions. I really appreciate you participating. Tell me a little bit about you. Boom, relationship starts.
Okay. I think TikTok stole from Clubhouse. Good
Yes.
gosh, I think it did. So
And I
I
was
was
on
I, I
Clubhouse
was I
too.
was a superstar in Clubhouse, a rock star. I was
I
an
was
OG,
too.
6.7K followers, spent over 16 to 17 hours a day every day on Clubhouse. I killed it, but it was because I would be on there as the expert and then get people and then they become my client.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really did too.
Yeah, that one was really strong was Clubhouse. I left right almost after the pandemic ended. I got there on January 7th of whatever. But what I learned from the process is yes, you can sell from stage.
Yes,
Stage is so much different than selling from a social media post or a
it
reel.
is. It
And
was.
and you can't. It's not that easy. You're going to get leads. You're going to get people to finally go. They can maybe DM you, get in comments, but the power is in the lives. And the only
Oh
one
my
really
gosh,
out there that
yes.
works right now is TikTok.
Yes, and I love TikTok, but what happens is in the posting from Facebook, and boy, this could be a whole workshop thing that we do on this one. But with Facebook, what I did was the post, because remember I didn't do a reel or a live, but what I did is I gave them testimonies like, hey, Sam just joined and he just got 2 sales today. Or, I was very careful about putting any monies, but when they say, oh gosh, guys, this has been a great week. I got, 12 sales with this week. And they're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So even though I wasn't talking, I was connecting that way. But TikTok is a different ball game because I'm talking, I'm live, I'm either doing a video or I'm doing a live. And it's what people miss out is it's not just a live and boom, I'm done. No, reach out to the people. They give you all the people that were on there and connect with them, build relationships. And sometimes they do need to see you 2, 3, 4, 7 times before they connect. And sometimes, here's another one. I had a couple people tell me, it just blew my mind. I knew it, but it really came true. She says, I've been watching you for 3 months. I've never joined your live, but I can see you from the For You page. And I says, you always deliver, you always give tips, tricks, and hacks, and you always answer everybody's questions. I'm ready to join. I'm like,
Wow. All right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
See, but that just reminds me so much of Clubhouse, except you are the star the whole time. Clubhouse, we had to share the stage, we had to make changes, we had to go switch to the next person, and
Yeah.
then the people were on the stage. You could see the audience. It just seems like TikTok figured that out. Then they added the shopping component, and TikTok Shop made it just to a level that you can't imagine. And I think that's huge. But I think that people have to understand there's money to be made on every social media
Every
platform,
platform.
but you got to hire a coach. You're not going to go figure it out yourself. And you're going to have to put the time to one platform, maybe be omnipresent on every one of them, but put your effort in the one that's bringing the most results.
Can I say this? If you want to join my email list, that's the thing that I want to share because I know what works on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those. People have to know, how do I present myself? How do I do my content? What kind of hashtags should I have? How many hashtags? What quota for hashtags? Those are the things that I've spent the time figuring it all out and doing coaching and buying products and stuff. So if you're interested, be glad to share that there is a total difference on every platform.
All right. Best place to connect with you. Where can they go? And they should like, share this video, especially on your channel and your new podcast. Like, share, subscribe. But where's the best place people connect?
Oh my gosh, best place probably is Laura at laurawhite360.com. And the reason I picked that, because Laura coaches all over the world. Laura at laurawhite360.com. And the another way is just Laura White on Facebook. That's an easy way. Messenger is a really good way. So I love, love. Please subscribe because I'm always giving tips, tricks, and hacks, letting you know there are ways to make streams of income.
All right. Take care now.